নরতম বর দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী। নরতম বর দুঃখী নিতাই মোর কর সুখী। রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ রাখ রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ। জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম। জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম। নিতাই গৌর হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল নিতাই গৌর হরি বল। নিতাই গৌর হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল। হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 राम। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताई गौरांग निताई गौरांग निताई गौरांग निताई आय निताई गौरांग निताई गौरांग जय राधा काला चंजी राधे जय राधा काला चंजी राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगतेरनाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगतेरनाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा देव जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा आई जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भव तुम्हें स्वामी नयन पथगामी भव तुम्हें जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव।
We can all read it together, yeah. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Anyone who has established his relationship with Lord Nityananda is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda. He has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be the truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please get me close to your lotus feet. Lord Nityananda Rama Ki Jai.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Purvakacharya Astutara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Purvakacharya Astutara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Sai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Sri Nityananda Trayodasi Ki Jai. Sri Nityananda Trayodasi Ki Jai. Sri Nityananda Rama Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Adi 510. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gauranga Haribol, Haribol, Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada, Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Acharya Thakur Srila Prabhupada, Acharya Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada, Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Gurudeva, Patit Pavan Srila Gurudeva. Jaya Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jai Gurudeva. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Astotarsta Shishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaya Charanarvindam, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, BBT Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Guru Brinda Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Yatharupa ki jai, Shri 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 Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, the holy appearance day of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Nityananda Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Nityananda Trayodasi ki jai, Shri Nityananda Trayodasi Maha Mahautsava ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai, Shri Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to your Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Trubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshanyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adigora Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Grantaraj Mad Bhakta Mahapurana ki jai. Shri 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 Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Nityananda Balarama ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaura Bhakta Binda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So when we started, we did chant Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. So we won't repeat that. So today we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 5, text 10. And then I will speak from the Nityananda Charitamrita, so that we have the story from both these amazing personalities. So, verse on the board. We'll do word for word. Shrishti Adika Seva Tanra Agyara Palana Shesharupe Kare Krishnera Vividha Sevana Shishta Adika Seva Tanra Gyara Palana Shishtadika Seva Tanra Agyara Palana Shesharupe Kare Krishnera Vividha Sevana Shesharupe Kare Krishnera Vividha Sevana Shishtadika seva tanragyara palana. Shesha rupe kare Krishnera vividha sevana. Please repeat. Shishtadikar seva tandragara palana. Shesha rupe kare Krishnera vividha sevana. Shishtadika seva tandragyara palana. Shesha rupe kare Krishna vividha sevana. Shishti adika seva. Service in the matter of creation. Tanra. His. Agyara. Of the order. Palana. Execution. Sesha rupe. The form of Lord Sesha. Kore. Does. Krishnera. Of Lord Krishna. Vividha sevana. Varieties of service. Translation. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation and in the form of Lord Shesha. He serves Krishna in various ways. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Somebody want to read the purport?
According to expert opinion, Balram, as the chief of the original quadruple form, is also the original Sankarshan. Balram, the first expansion of Krishna, expands himself in 5 forms: Mahasankarshan, Karnadakshayi, Garbhodakshayi, Shirodakshayi, and Shesha. These 5 plenary portions are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. In these 5 forms, Lord Balram assists Lord Krishna in his activities. The first 4 of these forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations, whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Shesha is called Ananta or unlimited because he assists the personality of Godhead in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. Shri Balram is the servator Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the same servator Godhead, Balram performs the same service through Lord Varanga by constant association.
Thank you very much. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Nitinamane. So reading from the Chaitanya, from the Lord Nityananda's Lord Nityananda Charitamrita, I'm going to read that and then speak about Lord Nityananda, and then hear from you all anything you'd like to say about Lord Nityananda as well. Lord Nityananda is the eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rarely is the name Nimai, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taken without that of Nitai, who is Lord Nityananda. Mahaprabhu cannot be approached or understood without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, who is the cardinal guru of all the universes and serves as an intermediary between Mahaprabhu and his devotees. Now this is a very, very important point here. Today is actually in many ways for us the happiest day of our life. We describe that when we celebrate Vyasa Puja, which is the holy appearance day of our spiritual master, that day we consider to be the happiest day of our life. So, the spiritual master is actually the representative of Lord Nityananda, and he is the intermediary between the living entity, the disciple, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna himself. So Lord Nityananda is the origin of this relationship between the devotee, the living entity, and Krishna. In the Bhagavatamrita, Krishna explains that the living entity comes into the material world, and often from the womb of the mother prays to Lord Krishna, please let me out of here, and if you let me out of here, then I will serve you. Because the living entity actually remembers Krishna. This is the amazing part of Krishna consciousness, that how is it that the living entity remembers Krishna in the womb of the mother? One of the explanations that's given is that in the womb of the mother, there is excruciating pain. The living entity suffers not just entrapment, because one is, in a sense, stuck in a bag for 9 months, hanging upside down. I mean, you can try just hanging upside down for 9 months, on a tree or something like that, and you'll realize how difficult an exercise that is, right? And here's the baby experiencing this exercise of hanging upside down with worms biting at its skin, very tender skin, and it's kicking inside the womb of the mother. And it is suffering so much, and it remembers its previous births. And it realizes the one mistake that it made was that it didn't fully surrender to Krishna. And so it prays, "Oh Lord, please let me out of the womb so that I will serve you," like this. The living entity remembers something that actually in the Siksashtakam, Lord Gauranga says very nicely. Lord Gauranga says, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam avajagadisha kamaye, mama janmane janmaneshware, bhavatad bhaktir ahoituki tvai." So actually, just like in this world, we have what we call mouse traps, right? So the mouse trap is designed in such a way that the mouse really wants to enjoy some cheese. And so in the trap, the person sets some cheese, and then what happens is the mouse enters into the trap and loses its body, actually loses its life. So actually, Lord Krishna gave Durga Devi, Maya Devi, this service of setting mouse traps in this world for us. And those 3 mouse traps are Dhanam, Janam, and Sundarim. We're always chasing wealth, we're chasing followers, we're chasing some type of sense enjoyment, the highest of which is considered to be sex life, like that. So we constantly fall into these, one or more of these mouse traps. One of them in every lifetime, some mouse trap we're falling into and giving up our lives. And Krishna loves us so much, he cannot bear to see this, that his children, Krishna says, "Aham bij pradapitaha," I am the seed-giving father of all living entities, that my children are suffering like this. I mean, those of us who are parents, we know that, right? We don't like to see our children suffering. Whenever our children suffer, it actually gives a lot of pain to the parents. And the parents will do the very best they can to get the child out of that suffering. So Krishna is the same. Krishna is seeing that we're suffering in this world, and he wants us to come out of that suffering. But he sees that as we are born, we're making this prayer, "Oh Krishna, in this lifetime, I will engage in your service." And Krishna says, "I play the fool." He says, "I play the fool. I think, yes, this time, this person will come. This time, this person will serve me. This time, this person will engage in my devotional service." But what happens? Again, Maya's traps work, and the living entity repeats the same story over and over again. Then Krishna says, in the Bhagavatamrita, which is the essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken for Uttara, the mother of Parikshit Maharaj, because she was not able to hear the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, and she wanted to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so she entered into this huddle where they were trying to protect Parikshit Maharaj from the bite of the snake bird, because that was the curse that was given, that you will be bitten by a snake bird. And so all the devotees huddled around Parikshit Maharaj to protect him so the snake bird cannot enter into the huddle. And right into the center of that huddle came Parikshit Maharaj's mother, Uttara, and she wanted to hear the essence of the whole Bhagavatam. And so that is called the Bhagavatamrita. So Lord Krishna describes, then I get a little tired of waiting. And when I get a little tired of waiting, I come as the spiritual master to hold the hand of my devotee, my child, and walk him or her way back to Godhead, all the way back to Godhead. So this is Lord Nityananda. He is the intermediary. This is the person who comes. So today is his holy appearance day, and therefore the happiest day of our life, because he helps us. Even though we've fallen into the mousetrap, he helps us, rescue us. He says that if someone takes my name even once, the name Nitai, just the name Nitai once, I will become his or her servant. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Nityananda Charitamrita it is described that Krishna resides in Lord Nityananda's body. That Krishna is Lord Nityananda's possession. He possesses Krishna. So today is the day when we can benefit from the mercy of Lord Nityananda, come out of this mousetrap, and actually truly serve the Lord with all of our heart and soul. So then it is described that he is the Lord's active principle in both creation and Leela. Now, last week we celebrated Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Lord Advaita Acharya is the one who manifested Gauranga Mahaprabhu. By his pleas, he manifested Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In this world today, in today's times, people talk about manifestation. How can you do manifestation? If you chant this prayer, if you do this, then you can manifest anything. They'll talk like that. But manifestation itself is not good enough. It is the experience, the culture after the manifestation, that is the real ecstasy. So if you manifest some money, that's not good enough. It is what that money will do for you that will give you happiness. That is the essence, right? So that is called the Leela. Leela means reciprocation. Li-la. The Lord offers and the devotee accepts. The devotee offers and the Lord accepts. That's called Leela. Like that. So Lord Nityananda is the essence of both creation and Leela. He is Mahavishnu himself. It was described, as Mataji was reading, that he is Mahavishnu himself, who is Advaita Acharya. But he is this additional part, which is the Leela. Then is described, he is the second body of the Lord, manifesting as Balaram to Sri Krishna, Lakshmana to Sri Ram, and Nityananda Prabhu to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is described in the beginning, aham evasam evagre, nanyad yad sadasat param, paschadaham yadetacha, yo vishishyeta soasmi aham. In the beginning there was nobody but Krishna. And from his right, he manifests Lord Balaram, and from his left, he manifests Radharani. All three personalities are actually the same soul, exact same soul. They're just three different bodies. So Lord Balaram is considered the second body, and Radharani is the third body, like that. But these three are actually all the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Radha and Krishna come back as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Lord Balaram comes as Lord Nityananda. Then it is described, all other forms, apart from these three, all other forms and expansions of the Lord's emanate from this second body, Nityananda Prabhu, is thus the source of Sankarshan, all the Vishnus and Anantasesha. So when Lord Krishna himself comes as Vasudev Krishna, he comes through the body of Lord Nityananda. He comes through the body of Lord Balaram. He becomes an expansion of Lord Balaram, of Lord Nityananda. Now, why is this very important to us? This is very important to us because Lord Chaitanya sets the standard. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Lord Krishna sets an even higher standard, right? Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraja. And what a high standard, right? Give up all varieties of religion. Prior to that, Prabhupada describes in the Bhagavad Gita, the meaning of religion is to love God. Pretty much, Krishna is saying, give up all varieties of love of God. And simply surrender at my feet. Mam ekam sharanam. And then he uses this amazing word, Braja. Why? Because without Braja, there is no original Krishna. Without Vrindavan, there is no original Krishna. This Braja is Lord Nityananda's body. Lord Balaram expands as Vrindavan. Lord Nityananda is Goloka, Vrindavan himself. I mean, this is amazing. Radharani says she does not want the association of Lord Krishna unless it is in Braja. So for us, because we're in the line of Radharani, we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Gaudiya Vaishnavas means those who are Vaishnavas, who are the servants of the servants of the servants of the Gopis of Braja, Gopir Bhartu Padakamalayur, Dasa Dasana Dasa, who are themselves servants of Radharani. We're in Radharani's camp. Therefore, we are called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And here is the person who actually will introduce us into that Sangha very, very easily. He simply says, chant my name once. Nitai. How hard is it to say Nitai, right? So easy. So then it says, as Vishnu Tattva, he and Advaitacharya are worshipped in the same category as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because they're both the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the manifested earthly Leela, Nityananda Prabhu is senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by more than a decade. It's actually a 12-year difference between Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Lord Nityananda appeared in Ekachakra. Now, why is it called Ekachakra? It is called Ekachakra because you remember at the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna broke his promise and decided to attack Bhishmadev with the wheel. That wheel was like a chakra, right? So he decided to attack, and Arjuna came and grabbed him and said, no, you can't do that. You promised you will not use that weapon. So that where that weapon dropped was called Ekachakra, and that's where Lord Nityananda appeared. That is called Ekachakra. You can see how all the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu are so intimately related to the pastimes of Krishna. Amazing, it's just amazing. It is described that he is statued like his master, with the whitish complexion of Lord Balaram, his master being Lord Gauranga. His garments resemble a cluster of blue lotus flowers, and his effulgence is said to surpass the grandeur of a rising moon at sunset. If you ever see a rising moon at sunset, you'll notice how pleasing it is to the heart. And today in the morning reading, it was being described, right? How when in summer the heat is so scorching, and the night the moon comes out, and it gives amazing relief. And here we sang today that Lord Nityananda is like 10 million moons. What to speak of one moon. And then in the Nityananda Charitamrita it continues to say that he has a deep, melodious voice, constantly singing the glories of Sri Krishna, and carries a red stick with benedictions for the devotees, but feared by the demoniac. So Lord Krishna, his mantra, Lord Nityananda, his mantra is Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Just like for us it is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He has the carefree mood of a wild avaduta, not just an avaduta, a wild avaduta. So absorbed is he in the love of Godhead, and no one knows what he will do next. That's Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu was born in Ekachakra in a small village in present West Bengal around the year 1474. His birth site is commemorated by a temple named as Garbhashva and is visited by throngs of pilgrims today. Garbhashva means the womb. That is the womb. Vrindavan is the womb. Goloka Vrindavan is the womb. In that womb, the baby is our devotion to Krishna. That's the baby that that Vrindavan wants to deliver. The love of our love for Krishna. So here's the place. The place is Lord Nityananda himself. His father, Harai Oja, and mother Padmavati were pious Brahmins, originally from Mithila. Nityananda Prabhu was born on the auspicious 13th day of the bright fortnight of the month of Magha. Nityananda Prabhu met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 1506, when Nityananda Prabhu was 32 years old. And Lord Chaitanya was 20 years old. It is said, when Nityananda Prabhu reached the land of Nadia, he hid in the house of Nandacharya to heighten the ecstasy of meeting through separation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, aware of the arrival of his eternal associate, dispatched Haridas Thakur and Srivas Pandit to search out Nitai. But they failed. Finally, unable to bear the separation any longer, just like Krishna, cannot bear the separation any longer, says he comes as the spiritual master. It is described here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went directly to Nityananda Prabhu, and the ecstasy of the meeting was so transcendental that everyone witnessing it were awed by the sublime experience. Then it is described that Nityananda Prabhu, in his role as the original spiritual master, was instrumental in spreading the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan all over Gaudadesh, Bengal, Orissa. So this is our ultimate purpose, to actually engage in Golokera Premadhana Shri Harinam Sankirtan. It is described by Srila Prabhupada that Lord Gauranga imported from Goloka Vrindavan the most ecstatic bliss of love in Goloka Vrindavan, and that is called Harinam Sankirtan, Golokera Premadhana. It is the wealth of the love that the devotees in Goloka feel for Krishna and the practice of that love. Lord Nityananda's mercy knew no bounds, and people fortunate enough to come in contact with him were inundated with the love of Godhead. It was by his mercy that Raghunath Das, one of the 6 Goswamis, started the famous Danda Mahotsava, festival of Panihati, a tradition that continues to this day, and was thus able to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. he extended his mercy to even souls like Jagai and Madai, delivering them from the sinful lives and protecting them from the wrath of even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who hardly gets angry. So we are described as like the Jagais and Madais. We are the Jagais and Madais. And it's described that the way back to Godhead is to first get the mercy of the Jagais and Madais. And then if you get the mercy of the Jagais and Madais, then you get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And then with the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we get the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then we get the mercy of Krishna Balaram and Radha Krishna. This is our process. Now we're from Radha Krishna's camp, so we normally say Radha Krishna. Indeed, his mercy knew no bounds, and fortunate were the people who tasted the nectar of his instructions. When Nityananda Prabhu returned to Bengal at the request of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided to abandon his Avaduta status and become a Grihastha, a householder. Because once you become a Grihastha, you cannot be an Avaduta anymore. Because now you have a wife who has a rolling pin in her hands. And she will correct you. And that is her role, actually. It is her role to do that. It is described that the greatest advancement in any of the four ashramas is in the Grihastha ashrama. For this very reason, that the wife or the husband, depending on who you are, plays a very, very important role in helping us advance. And then more than that are the children. When the children come, they are the real, like masters, aren't they? They really rule our lives. Everything revolves around them. He married Janava Devi and Vasudha. That's Lord Nityananda. He is Avaduta. And so he married these two personalities. The two daughters of Suryadas Sarakhel. There is actually a reason why he married both. It was, both of them were so much into him. They really wanted to marry him, so there was hardly any choice. Because the other second daughter wouldn't marry if she wouldn't marry Lord Nityananda. So that's how it ended up that Suryadas Sarakhel's two daughters married Lord Nityananda. Suryadas Sarakhel is the brother of Gauridas Pandit, an intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the spiritual master of the famous Shyamananda Pandit. Shyamananda Pandit is also one of the first book distributors, as we know. Nityananda Prabhu had a son, Veerachandra, and a daughter, Ganga Devi, from Vasudha. Soon after Vasudha passed away, and Janavi Devi looked after the children. She looked after the children. She later initiated Veerachandra and also became an instructing spiritual master to the likes of Shyamananda Pandit, Shivas Pandit, and Narottam Das Thakur. Janavi Devi is revered as a Vaishnavi, and she established the preeminent position of women in the Vaishnava tradition. This is scripture speaking. Lord Nityananda wound up his earthly pastimes by merging into the deity of Krishna known as Bankim Rai, not far from Ekachakra. Vaishnava Acharyas emphatically state that people who try to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without getting the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu will never succeed. One must pray very sincerely to Lord Nityananda Prabhu as the Adi Guru, the original spiritual master, to be delivered to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hence, one of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's names is Nityananda Prana. That's Lord Chaitanya's name. Nityananda Prana means that he is the life force of Lord Nityananda. He is the life force. No wonder it says Krishna is inside Lord Nityananda's body. The presence of Nityananda Prabhu is always felt in the presence of one's own Guru. For the Guru is considered to be the living manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu's love and mercy, and his Shakti, or power. His Shakti is what gives the disciple the ability to perform devotional service and experience spiritual bliss. Vaishnava Acharyas emphatically state that people who try to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without getting the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu will never succeed. Sri Nityananda Balarama Ki Jai. So in the morning part, I thought I'd just speak a little about Lord Nityananda, more from a philosophical side. And then at lunchtime, Jai. Come right in, come right in. Hare Krishna, yeah. Hare Krishna, Navin Shyam Prabhu. Welcome. Welcome to your father. So nice to see him. So Lord Nityananda, going back to the class, he is the person who, when we do kirtan, it is described that if you dance in front of the form of Lord Chaitanya, and we have our deities here, Gaur Nitai, who are actually Sankirtan deities. They were on the very famous Radha Damodar Sankirtan party. When we are dancing in front of Lord Gauranga, it is the mercy and the Shakti, the energy of Lord Nityananda that allows us to dance. We can tell who is getting the mercy by seeing who's dancing. Now, I'm not saying that you should just dance because then you want to show people that I'm getting the mercy. I'm not saying that. But when somebody dances with their heart and soul in front of the deity of Lord Gauranga, one should understand that that person has the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So today is the day when we can actually beg for that mercy. And this is the easiest day to get that mercy. Because Lord Nityananda is said to be maddened today, just like we know at the time of Lord Balaram, what do? We hang that pot of honey, and then we have our young children break the pot so some honey can come out, right? It's because Lord Balaram, he drinks this drink called the Varuni, which is made of practically two items, sweet condensed milk and honey put together. So condensed milk itself is very sweet, isn't it? By the way, that was one of Prabhupada's favorites at breakfast time. He would always have some condensed milk there at breakfast time. He liked to take some condensed milk, touch it to his mouth. It's ecstasy, it's pure ecstasy when you take condensed milk like that. So Lord Balaram actually adds honey to that condensed milk. Now you can say, this is real ecstasy. And when he drinks it, he becomes inebriated. He becomes like a drunk person. You know, Lord Balaram said to be a drunk person. His eyes, go left and right very quickly. You know how in a drunk person, the eyes, they don't stay stable, right? They move a lot like that. So Lord Nityananda is in the same mood on the appearance of his own appearance day, in his appearance day. So today is like that. And he's thinking nothing else but how he can give us some mercy. That's all he's thinking today. How can he give us some mercy? So today, we should especially be so happy that mercy is flowing. Just like on Radha Astami, we do this Abhishek, flower Abhishek, right? With those rose petals, and we do it also at the time of Kirtan 50. And then when those flower petals come on us, right, the audience, there's waves and waves and waves and waves of ecstasy, right? People feel waves and waves and waves of ecstasy. And that wonderful smell of rose permeates the whole room, And everybody's in total ecstasy, right? And sometimes they get a little wild, throwing at one another, and things like that, right? So today, these waves and waves and waves of mercy are flowing because it is Lord Nityananda's appearance day. Take advantage of that. Just be very happy. Srila Prabhupada describes there's only one thing that can go wrong. Other than that, you can make all the mistakes you want in your life. You can mess up any way you can. But Lord Nityananda's mercy will carry you, except for one thing, and that is offending devotees or offending any living entity. Stay away from offense. And our minds are very good at that, thinking about faults in others. What's wrong with this person? What's wrong with that person? How can we separate those who are wrong from right? And that type of stuff, right? We get into this, somehow I know how to judge, when actually we're so insignificant and so fallen ourselves, right? We're in no position to judge. It is described in Goloka Vrindavan, the particles of dust, they're called saffron particles. And they have a form, they have a face, they have a neck. Just like we have a full form, the particles of dust, they have a form like that. Everything in Goloka Vrindavan is sentient, it's animate. So, we are supposed to become like that. We're supposed to become like particles of dust in Goloka Vrindavan. Because those particles are actually more beautiful than we are. If you ever see a particle of dust in actual person form, you'll realize how beautiful this person is and how ugly we are. No matter how many times we look at ourselves in the mirror, and mirror, mirror on the wall all day long, we cannot compare the beauty. So today is the day when we actually aspire to become particles of dust at the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Because at the lotus feet of the spiritual master are other particles of dust. And we can associate with devotees this way and have sadhu sangha, which is, Prabhupada describes, 90% of our success. And 90% of our success comes from doing Sankirtan as well, chanting the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because the holy name is the Lord. Where you have the Lord and the devotees, that's complete, right? This is why we're so addicted to come to the temple. And this is, whenever we're outside, Maya throws this obstacle, that obstacle at us, and we're dodging this obstacle, dodging that obstacle, right? But when you come to the temple, you feel really good. You meet some nice devotees, and you feel so happy meeting devotees. We have ecstatic prasadam, the most ecstatic deities, right? Kirtan happens, and we're singing and dancing, and all our cares melt away, right? We actually experience the mercy of the deities, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who sits here every day to bless us. How many times have we heard people come to this temple who had no idea what this temple is about, walked into the temple and thought they were talking to a person. And some of them actually described that he stood up and he was very regal and he had a scepter in his hands. And we think to ourselves, wow, how is Srila Prabhupada presenting himself to the innocent souls who are walking into this temple, right? We're not so innocent. We tend to have some type of a idea of who Srila Prabhupada is, so our hearts are not that open, and so Prabhupada doesn't reciprocate in exactly the same way. But he does reciprocate with us, because especially in those of us who are here right now, we're his grandchildren. And if anybody knows in a family the relationship between children and parents, and children and grandchildren, you know the difference. There's a stark difference, right? So Prabhupada, for Srila Prabhupada, we are his grandchildren. And grandchildren get away with a lot. I mean, they really get away with murder, And sometimes the children will come and tell the grandparents, you're spoiling my child, Please, don't do that. You don't know how hard it is for me to bring up my child. And then he comes to your house, and then you mess up with him or her. And then I have to take care of him after her after that. It's not easy. But that's Srila Prabhupada with us. He's so happy. He is himself the manifestation of the energy of Lord Nityananda. So you can imagine how merciful Srila Prabhupada is today, right? So today, especially when Mataji was singing, and then she was glorifying Srila Prabhupada, I was seeing so many people just dancing madly with ecstasy. And I was thinking, this is the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So thank you all for your association. We're so very fortunate to have an amazing community here in Dallas that Srila Prabhupada set up, and that so many devotees came and added to in one shape, form, or another, and made it into what it is today, a wonderful Grihastha community. And now we're seeing brahmacharis and brahmacharinis coming also, and go back to the old days in the late 60s and early 70s when we were all brahmacharinis, right? Very few grihasthas. So it'll be wonderful to see the community filled with many brahmacharis and brahmacharinis again. And thanks to our program with Krishna House, that is possible. And so this community is only going to become more and more ecstatic. I only worry about one thing, and that is that one day there will be not enough space in this temple. And some people may feel a little offended that we're telling them that they only have so much time in the temple room and they have to move along, so others can also have some time with the deities and the devotees. But other than that, right now it's fine. You can walk in anytime you want and greet the Lord and have such a wonderful relationship with the Lord and also with the devotees, and chant, feast, and dance our way back to Godhead. That's Lord Nityananda's program. He is the one who is the big chanter, dancer, and feaster. Just spoke about the Dahi festival, right? He spoke about why was that festival happening? It said to please Lord Chaitanya. It becomes very, very pleasing to Lord Chaitanya to see devotees feasting. And Prabhupada said you can feast your way back to Godhead. Such a nice program, isn't it? So thank you all very much. I'm going to ask, we have a few minutes, 10 minutes till 9. If any of you would like to say something about Lord Nityananda, please speak. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Oh, nice. There are 2 mics, huh? Nice.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Prabhu, I had a question. You mentioned about Vaishnava fans being very strong, and so you see, Jagai Madai, the very first thing they did was commit Vaishnava fans, like physically hurt a devotee, and yet they received the highest mercy. So, what was their qualification?
Yeah, very good. Their qualification was they met Lord Nityananda. This is our manifestation. This is our qualification as well, that we're able to come in front of the deity of Gaur Nitai and actually meet the other Jagais and Madais who have reformed, right? Because the devotees are reformed Jagais and Madais. So qualification hardly ever comes from one's own self. Qualification generally always comes from some other person, except if you've come directly from Vaikuntha. If you're a devotee who's come directly from Vaikuntha for the purpose of rescuing the devotees in this world, then I can say that your qualification is already there, right? Other than that, every one of us who actually came in at the time of the manifestation in this creation, which is a little over 155 trillion years ago. And by the way, this is Lord Chaitanya's 15,001st visit. We missed the boat 15,000 times. Please understand, it was not that you were not a devotee in those 15,000 times. You did not become a spiritual master in ISKCON in those 15,000 times. That wasn't the problem. You could be the top spiritual master in ISKCON and still not go back to Godhead if you offend the devotees. It is not possible to go back to Godhead if you offend the devotees. It is said Lord Krishna's hands tremble with anger when you offend a devotee. In that situation, Mayadevi is not about to give you, stamp your visa. She's not about to let you out of this prison. There's no way to escape this prison. I mean, the covering of this prison, if you think about it, this is 400 billion miles across, just the inner universe. And there are 13 layers of coverings after that, each layer 10 times bigger than the other. The first layer is of earth. That's 4 trillion miles across. 4 trillion miles across in its width. 4 trillion miles of just earth layer. And then after the earth layer comes the layer of fire. Earth, water. And water is 10 times more than the earth layer. So that's 40 trillion miles across now. Then like that, next one is 400 trillion miles across. Then can you imagine by the time it reaches the 13th layer, how thick it becomes? That's what you got to get out of to get out of this prison. There's no way anybody's making it out of here. That's why we've been here for the last 155 trillion years. We didn't make it through. Yeah, we became devotees. That is why Lord Krishna says that you have to practice devotion for many lifetimes. Now, when I say many, okay, there is a number. Okay? Now, if somebody like Elon Musk says many, that number is a lot bigger. When Brahma says many, that's an amazing number, right? But when Krishna says many, oh my God. Are there enough zeros to fill this room? Is there enough space in this room to fill all the zeros after the one? Please don't think that Krishna consciousness is something that is so easily obtained. It is not. Prabhupada said, it is simple, but it is simple for the simple-hearted. But are we simple-hearted? I don't think so. I think we got a lot of judgment inside of us. Oh, this, that. Blue is better than red. Red is better than pink. Pink is better than brown. Right? Nobody would think that that's judgment anyway, right? That's like a choice. You made a choice. How is that a judgment? But you decided one color was better than the other color. And what was your position to decide that? Absolutely zilch, right? Nada, zero. I can tell you, let's wake up, sleeping souls. Let's wake up. Let's figure out what is happening. Yes, Madi, sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Is that okay, by the way? Yes, thank you.
Thank you for class.
Thank you.
Sometimes we find that we are in the position where we have to make judgments in order to protect the devotees that are under our care, or to protect our own very tender bhakti lata.
Yes.
So how can we properly make that discernment without having an offensive mentality?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. When I became temple president here, this was one of my big problems too. So I said to my spiritual master, I don't want to be a temple president, actually. I just don't want to be a temple president. Thank you very much. Because, when you become temple president, you're like a lightning rod, Lightning strikes first at the lightning rod, right? So the temple president is the cause of all the problems in the temple, right? Whatever you do, it's your fault. No matter who did what, it's your fault, right? So I didn't want to. So he gave me a very good strategy, and I used that strategy, and it really worked very nice. He told me, he said, internally be like a lion. Be like a lion. Be very fixed up with Krishna. Like a lion is very strong, right? Very powerful creature. Everybody pays attention to a lion, right? But externally be a mouse. I said, wow, that's very hard. I came from a business background, ran large businesses. When you're the CEO, the managing director in the British parlance, owner of large businesses, it's very hard not to have an ego. Ego comes automatically with it. So now to give that up and be like a mouse outside, heck, how do you do that? You know what I mean? But it takes a while. He said 2 years practice, and he said you'll learn after 2 years of practice. So first 2 years as a temple president, he said, don't do anything. Let everybody do whatever they want. You just observe. Fortunately, we had a temple council, so the temple council was able to do things. And for 2 years I just observed, and after that I started. Now, here comes the answer, you know what I mean? There are two parts to being a leader. The one part is when you have been directed by somebody to be a leader for the purposes of the movement. The other part is if you have been directed to be a leader as a part of your service to the spiritual master. So, to become temple president was what my spiritual master asked me to do, although he was the GBC. He asked me to do because of the service to the movement. Somebody has to be temple president, right? I know nobody likes to be temple president. You know, they say you have to be certified crazy to want to be a temple president, you know. And anybody who becomes a temple president knows why after they become a temple president, right? And some know it before, like Lord Singer, Rupa Prabhu knew that before, but we begged him and begged him and begged him. It took a lot of years of begging, by the way. I begged him for 11 years. That's how long it took to have him accept the position, because he wouldn't accept it. But he was, from our point of view, myself and others, the very best person to be the temple president here. And so that is a service that's being directed based on the movement. Now, by the way, prior to Lord Chaitanya, there was no organization. Organization came after Lord Chaitanya. ISKCON is an organization, and Prabhupada wanted that organization. So in that organization, when you're serving, internally be a lion, and externally be a little mouse-like in the sense, make the choice to correct someone rarely. Don't do it too often. Unfortunately, you cannot escape it, you're right. You have to. For the sake of the movement, you have to. And so you will do that, and that's fine. But do it rarely. And whenever you do it, turn to the Lord and beg forgiveness. That Lord, because remember, the Lord is the one who's going to decide whether you go back to Godhead, right? So turn to the Lord and beg forgiveness. I had to make that correction. I'm really sorry. I would not have, had I not been in this position, had you not put me in this position, I would not have. But I had to. So in a sense, what you're doing is you're telling yourself that you're not judging, you're not actually saying something that might hurt another person. Now, by the way, the other person's reaction is very important, okay? If the other person appreciates what you said, understand there is no offense. That correction has no offense to it. Offense only happens if the other person is unhappy. You see what I'm saying? Okay, now comes the other part, which is the spiritual master gave you an instruction. I want you to do something. Like in my case, he asked me to build a university, which is why I resigned, because now I'm working on that, to set up a university. Now in that one, you're supposed to be a lion externally and a mouse internally. You reverse. So when it comes to now running the university project, I'm like a lion. I insist on things. I must have it. I'll get a little mad about it if something doesn't happen. But internally, I'm a mouse. I think to myself, this is not me who's doing this. It's my spiritual master. It's his instruction, right? It's not me. It's my spiritual master who's doing this. So, and if you know my spiritual master, if you ever met him, everybody knows what a sauce giver he was. He had all varieties of sauce. Each one more intense than the other. You know, so that happens, right? So that way what happens is both features are taken care of. Because, see, we are lions and lionesses. Like today when you were singing in the Sing Arti, I was thinking this is like a lioness singing to a lion. You know, that's what I was thinking. Here's a lioness singing to a lion, you know, like that. So all of us have this in us, right? To be a lion and lioness. That's naturally in us because we are devotees. Devotees are always very strong people. Any wonder why you have so many lions in this temple? We have 82, by the way. 82 lions in this temple. This is a lion temple. This is a temple of lions. 82 are those ones, but there are many more than that who are walking around and in and out of this temple. So we have hundreds of lions at this temple. You see what I'm saying? So that lion-like character is there. Because of the lion-like character, your question is a very important and wonderful question. How do we avoid committing the cardinal mistake of offending Krishna by offending the devotee. Because really what you have done is you've offended Krishna as well. Because that child is a child of Krishna. That person you offended is also a child of Krishna. Just recently on our thread, we were talking about how some young children at this temple were dealt with unfairly, right? In the sense they were discouraged in some way by whatever was said to them, this, that, and the other, or done with them, right? Okay, so similarly, and then you see how the elders spoke up, right? And said, don't do that. Whoever's doing that, don't do it. It's wrong. And one of them, I think it was Mother Kunti, who said, we should find out who it is who's doing it. I think it was somebody else. I think it might have been somebody else. Huh? Rupanuga Prabhu said, I want to know who did it. So these are children, right? So similarly, every living entity is a child of Krishna. If you offend that child, the worst part of it is you're offending Krishna. It is bad offending the child. It's really wrong. I shouldn't say the word worse. But the bigger consequence is going to come from Krishna, right? Krishna is going to give it to you. And then, that's it, right? Now let's look forward to 15,002, which is 8,640 years from now. Are we ready to wait that long? Are we ready to wait? It would be a great mistake to wait that long. It's already getting quite hot right now. It's getting quite hot. We want to get out of here and go to the spiritual. Not because we want to get out of here, so that we get more capacity to serve, to love more. Just like when you have a child and you're earning $10,000 a month and you're able to take care of the child so much, when you're earning 50, you're able to do better care of the child, right? Give better education, this, that, and the other, right? So as your capacity increases, your ability to serve and love also increases. And that's why we want to go to the spiritual world, because there the capacity is unlimited. Here the capacity is limited. But does that make sense to you? It's a little... Yeah. Well, we have the temple president here. It's his job to tell us what we can do. Can she have a follow-up, or what's... I think we should move on, right? To the kirtan? What do you think? Okay, wonderful. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. You spoke a lot about the externally offending devotees. I also wanted to hear maybe about the internal, judgment on inside our heart.
Thank you very much. That is the key. That is the essence. Because thinking, feeling, willing, doing, right? It starts with the thinking. So we got to catch ourselves every time we do that and say to ourselves, don't do that. Even Prabhupada did that to himself. One time a devotee saw Prabhupada through a keyhole because he wanted to take something to Prabhupada, give to Prabhupada, but he wanted to be sure that Prabhupada was not resting. You know, Prabhupada took very little rest. And so devotees were always careful not to walk into his room because he might be taking a 5-minute rest or 10-minute rest or something like that. Their rests were very short. I remember my spiritual master one time telling me I'm going to take rest, and I thought, wow, finally I'm going to get some rest too. I was his servant. And then he went into his bedroom and he told me to lay at the door, the entrance to the bedroom, so nobody would come in. They'd have to go over me, right? I mean, they have to trample me to go in. So you sleep there, and I'm sleeping inside. And so resting. 2 minutes later, he was up. I was thinking, what? That's a rest? Whatever rest is that, you know? So Prabhupada would take these short rests sometimes. And so what happened was, this devotee wanted to go into Prabhupada's room. So he wanted to see where the Prabhupada was resting. He looked through the keyhole, and he saw Prabhupada doing like this to himself. Hit his head like that. And so, after a while, the devotee went in. The devotee is wondering what he should do. Then he went in. He knocked, and he went in. Then he said, Prabhupada, said, I saw you. You know, at that time, devotees were so close to Prabhupada, they would ask him anything. No question, no holds barred, you know. Prabhupada, what about this? What about that? This thing, you know. So he asked Prabhupada, I saw you hitting your head like that through the keyhole, you know. And what were you doing? He said, I was actually correcting myself. He said, but what happened, Prabhupada? So he said, I was thinking. They had met a person who was a devotee of Sai Baba. And you know, Prabhupada, here's a lion, right? Sai Baba is not God. But you know, Sai Baba disciples get very, very, very disturbed by that, right? So Prabhupada, he wanted to say some things, but he didn't say it. He said some things, but there were some more things he wanted to say. He zipped his mouth and didn't say it, right? And then when he came inside his room, he hit himself for thinking that he should say those things. He's correcting himself. Don't say those things. Don't even think it. Why are you thinking it? What's wrong with you? And the perfect example is given of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, when he was a little boy, he got offended when he couldn't play on his father's lap, right? Then his mother, elder mother, younger mother, right, Surichi, insulted him, right? And said, you weren't born through my womb, so you can't play on your father like that. He was insulted. You see what I'm saying? And so he decided, and then when he told his mother, and mother became insulted as well. So he decided he was going to get a kingdom better than his father's, right? And his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather was Brahma. And what's a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma's? And Lord Brahma, whole creation is his, right? So the whole universe is his. So then when Dhruva Maharaj met the Lord in Madhuvan, he realized that this thought of him wanting a kingdom bigger than his grandfather was a huge mistake, that Krishna was much better. Having Krishna would be much better. Being with Krishna would be much better, right? Madhuvan is one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Okay, then he thought to himself, but I felt insulted by my younger mother. I should not have felt insulted. Why did I think there's something wrong with my younger mother? What's wrong with me? I should never think like that. He corrected himself. So when he came back, right, to the kingdom, when he met his younger mother, he embraced her with so much love. He wanted to correct himself. Don't think bad about another person. So to correct himself, he embraced that person who was thinking bad about so tightly that she was completely in ecstasy just receiving the love of Dhruva Maharaj. Right? I don't think we do that as much. When we don't think somebody is a nice person, we don't go to that person, hug the person, and think to ourselves, I shouldn't have thought like that, so now I'm going to correct myself going hugging the person, right? But that would be a great thing to do. Because that would totally eradicate the thought from your mind, right? You would stop thinking like that. And that'll please Krishna unlimitedly. And the amazing thing that we have found, those of us who are doing things like that have found, that Krishna gives us opportunities to do service way beyond what we would have imagined. Really, the greatest reward in Krishna consciousness is service. Service is described as an expression of love. To be able to express love is the greatest of all happinesses in this world, right? Love gives the greatest happiness. So when we actually do that, and I've noticed this, especially with Nrsimharupa, because we sort of talk to one another about different things, right? I've noticed that he does that. And you wonder why people think that he's such a wonderful temple president. And they love him as a temple president. I mean, when I first decided that he should become the temple president, some of the devotees came to me and said, how can that be, Why you have a white temple president? We should have an Indian temple president. And I told them, well, because you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Give him a chance, let him see, let you see for a while. After he becomes strong, then you come and tell me. That's a different story. But now none of them have come back to me. All of them feel very satisfied and happy. Right? Because that he has this nature in him, he doesn't offend people. Have you noticed that? He doesn't. He's very, very nice with people. And even thinking about other people, I noticed that because we've spoken to one another, I get the idea that even in his thinking, he's not offending. Even though he knows there's a problem, he's not offending in the thinking. He's thinking of it from the point of view, can we all walk this path together? Can we all chant, feast, and dance our way back to Godhead together? Because really, we're not going alone. We're going as a group back to Godhead. So if we stay together, chanting, feasting, and dancing, on the same ship, that whole ship is getting to the other shore, right? Some of us shouldn't jump off that boat, and then lose the opportunity. So Does that answer the internal part? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you very much. Those are not easy questions, by the way. Those are difficult questions because it's very hard to give up offense. It is the only thing that holds us back in this world. Nothing else is holding us back. You can commit any sin you want. That sin can be overcome. Offense cannot be overcome. The only way to overcome an offense is to beg forgiveness of that devotee to whom you offended and please that devotee. Begging forgiveness is not good enough. You've got to please that person. And some people are very hard to please. They're just very hard to please. So just don't offend. So you don't have to please them, right? Thank you. All right, thank you all very much. Vanchakapa, Dhurvascha, Kripasindhu Bevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhya, Vaishnavebhya Namo Nama, Anantakoti Vaishnava Brindaki Jai, Shri Nityananda Balaram Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Gaur Bhakta Brindaki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
His Grace Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Brindaki Jai.
So thank you, Nityananda Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Let's all give Nityananda Prabhu a big Hari Bo. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. We have to fix that, no problem. So the remaining schedule for today will be, we'll have Kirtan in the temple room will continue until 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock we'll have Abhishek from 10 to 10:30. And at 10:30 we will have a presentation by the TKG Academy from 10:30 to 11. And at 11 o'clock we'll have class by His Grace Paturnath Prabhu, speaking about the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. And at noon we'll have Arti and Kirtan. And at 1 o'clock, Sumptuous Prasadam Feast. And if you're looking for any service opportunities, we need some help with, particularly with the wrap up and clean up after Prasadam. So if we all pitch in a little bit, it'll be fun and quick. So thank you so much. So please, like Nityananda Prabhu said, let's do our best today to pray for the mercy of Lord Nityananda so we can all serve nicely together. Let's try and imbibe that mood in our service and interactions together and serve each other in that mood. Thank you so much. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
start over. I perpetually worship Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the root of the Krishna Bhakti tree, whose bright face mocks the full autumn moon, whose pure complexion glistens, whose gait is like that of a maddened elephant, who is always intoxicated in Krishna Prema, who embodies pure spiritual energy, whose face holds a gentle smile, whose eyes are always rolling due to his absorption in Krishna Prema, whose lotus hands hold a glowing staff, and who, by the performance of Nam Sankirtan, pierces the influence of Kali Yuga.
I perpetually worship Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the root of the Krishna Bhakti tree, who is the mainstay of all the rasas, who is everything to his devotees, who is beyond compare, who is the master of both Vasudha and Janavadevi, who consider him more dear than their own lives, who's always maddened in Krishna Prema, who's unknown only to those of meager intelligence.